I mean, I'm surprised you went away from the team that you talk down more than any other team, and that's your freaking baby sister team out there in LA. I can't believe that I was on record saying this is the Clippers' year and they're gonna do it, and you would shit on me for that whole show. And now I'm like, that good Trey shit on me for that whole show because I deserved it for even uttering those words that this year is the Clippers' year.
Playoff time is finally here, and here we go. Single squad starting 5. We're going to do this throughout the playoff rounds. Just give you a special preview. This is TreyDay. That's my homie Grandpa J, and we're going to handle business. We're going to put you on some game, give you all a couple locks, give you a couple things to look out for, because who better to tell you about this than us two? But let's start off real simple here. Jay, who do you have as being the potential breakout star of the first round this year in the playoffs?
So I've actually been lucky enough here where we have the station to see a lot of Magic games. So I've had the chance to see Franz Wagner have himself a spectacular year this year. He has dropped off a bit from downtown, so he doesn't pose as much of a threat to stretch the defense and help Banchero out from that point. However, if he does find his shot, I think, and he will find his shot early in this series against the Cavs, it poses such a big threat that now you're extending those big men away from the basket, which makes it much easier for Banchero to get to the basket and put the ball in the hole. So I love what I saw from him this year. He's not afraid to take games over on his own. The guy's skill set is pretty incredible. Shoots 85% from the line, 6'10". So he's a hard guy to keep an eye on and try to mark. I know Cleveland has the size for him, but I think he's more athletic than Cleveland's bigs from an in-out standpoint. He will have a hard time on the defensive end, I think. But I see him as my breakout player with a little bit of an incline to maybe lean to another player over to Minnesota. But I'm going to let you go first in case that's your breakout guy.
I originally, and I still had a couple in mind, but actually in Orlando, I kind of think Banchero has the better shot of going off just because Franz had a little bit of a disappointing season. He didn't come up as quick as I thought he was. I think Banchero's going to give the Cavs problems, so I think he would be the Magic person who's going to take over. But I'm going to stand on this horse. I've stood on it before. The MVP of the league should be SGA, and I think he won't get the MVP, which is why I think he's going to be the breakout star, because I think he's going to come out and say, I got something to prove. I had an all-time great season. And y'all don't watch him in OKC. People don't see them. So this is finally the time where he gets to be on TV night after night. People are going to see him on ESPN, on TNT. And I think he's going to break out because I think they're going to have a point to prove as a team, and he's going to have a point to prove to say, y'all keep slouching on me. Y'all don't watch us out here in Oklahoma City. Let me show you what you've been missing all year. So I just think SGA is going to – I think he's going to kill it. And I know a lot of people say he has
to match the production, right? I mean, 56 games over 30 points this year? So – he's going to have to average 30 a game in the series because, like, hey, I almost did this for the entire regular season. And I don't even know if I would consider breakout, right? Because that's what he's been doing all year. He's like, and people can be like, oh, SGA. It's like, but shit, guys, I did this for like 75% of the season this year.
Exactly. And that's the thing, because people are going to look at him as oh, I can't believe this. And it's like, no, that's because y'all don't watch regular season basketball. Anybody who's really in the basketball community and watches it knows that SGA has balled all year. He's been balling for a couple years. I remember when the Clippers were doing the PG trade, and I remember seeing some analysts like, hey, I wouldn't trade him. I would say he's off limits. And they did that. And to be honest with you, the Clippers would love to have somebody like that now. That actually brings me to our second question. So the flop, and I'll go first on this. Who do you think the biggest flop will be in the first round? Now, first we were going to say a player. I'm not going to do a player. It's going to be the entire fucking Clippers.
I knew you were going there.
It's going to be the Clippers. Hey, what did the Clippers need all year? They needed something like an SGA. Russ at times, Russ brings so much energy, and that's great. But we know the Russell Westbrook experience. Right. There's games where he's just gonna say, "Wave off, get out the way. I got this." Luka gonna come out there. He gonna bust. Lack of a better term, he's gonna bust in Russ's face, and Russ is gonna be like, "Oh, let me go back and prove something," and he's gonna go off the rails. Harden. What does Harden do every playoffs? He's gonna disappear. We'll get to game 5 or 6, and he's gonna disappear. What does Kawhi do every playoffs? He balls out, and he literally disappears. We've already read stories about him having swelling in the knees, these type of things. So I don't know if Kawhi's going to make it through the first round. And we've seen before, what has Luka done? When Luka played a couple years ago, and this is way before he's got as good as he is now, he was busting Paul George and Kawhi's ass. Those two are old. Luka is at a better, more prime spot, and he has Kyrie with him. I expect the Clippers to fully flame out. That is what I expect. The Clippers are going to be the disappointment. Who do you got as a flop?
Yeah, Luca and Cat. This is the worst matchup the Clippers could have asked for. The absolute worst matchup. You probably have the best guard combo right now, who are playing arguably their best basketball they've ever played together. As a team, Dallas kind of looks like they know how to finally play defense. So that's scary for the rest of the West. I hate it for them because it's like, how can deja vu happen to this team again? But it's the Milwaukee Bucks, and it's Giannis who's not going to be able to finish the first round again. Like year after year, he's not going to make it out the first round. He might not even make it to game two, depending on how he comes in game one, just like last year. And we say all the time, we feel cheated as fans that we don't get to see the best players. And as Milwaukee fans, you have to be shaking your head like, how the hell could this happen to us again? We go out and we get our guy. We go out and finally deliver that person that Giannis needs, because we sent Drew Packin to the team that's probably going to win the damn championship this year. So at least we have to try and get to the conference finals and prove that we can run with them, and maybe the trade worked in our favor more than theirs. And they might get bounced in the first round because, by the way, in case you guys haven't seen yet, guess who are 1.5 point favorites on the road in game one? That's the Indiana Pacers. I mean, what the hell? Since when did the Milwaukee Bucks start an opening series in the playoffs as dogs at home? That's crazy, right?
I didn't know they start off as favorites. I mean, it is kind of crazy, though, because the Indiana, at least from what I remember, actually gave them some hellified matchups, even when I was like, damn, you don't have Giannis. So unfortunately for the Bucks, this is terrible timing. There's a scenario where I could see them actually go home, like you said. And for Dame, the whole thing was get me out of Portland, I go to contender. Now he gets here, and Dame has to go to playoffs and carry a team by himself again, because God knows when Giannis actually is going to be available. Will he end up rushing? That's going to be a big. If they go down, lose that first game, do they rush Giannis back even if he's not ready because they don't want to go down 0-2? And the way we've seen it when shit got big, and I know it's in-season tournaments, not the playoffs. Halliburton and them boys were ready to play, and now we're back with the shit. Yeah, there now. He's getting more acclimated with the team. Yeah, the Bucks are going to be in for a war like that. It's crazy because you'd have told me a couple months ago, no way in hell I'd have told you the Bucks and Pacers may go 6 or 7, but I'd be shocked more now if it doesn't go 6 or 7 for that series.
And what was kind of interesting with the Pacers is you kind of thought, well, this kind of sucks for them, because you saw the emergence of Mathurin this year, and like Benedict Mathurin was that person who was going to step up as that reliable three probably in the offense. He started to pick up his game. He's getting close to 15, 16 points a game, and then he's done for the season. You're like, all right, well, there goes the Pacers' chances. You know, it's kind of like a two-man game again. It's Halliburton, it's Turner. But then all of a sudden, you have this kid emerging, this Aaron Nesmith kid, who nobody knows about. I mean, I have to kind of dig deep to find out, right? And the irony with this is the Celtics are like, you're no good for us. Like, go find a home somewhere else. And the Pacers like, come on to Indiana. We'll take you in. So it's kind of interesting that the Pacers could find themselves right away kind of moving on in the first round. And the Knicks don't want to see none of the Pacers because they can't keep up with them. Like, they don't have enough scoring. Brunson can't score 60 points a game. So I think the Knicks are more praying for the Milwaukee Bucks, the injured Bucks to come in. But do you think that Dame secretly wants this story? Do you think Dame wants to be the star? You think Dame wants to prove that he can carry a team still, a better team possibly than Portland in the playoffs?
I don't think he's necessarily mad about it, because there's a few times where it kind of got awkward in the fourth quarter where you could see Dame kind of wanting the ball. And now if we get to game one and the game's on the line, Dame knows it's Dame time. Like, he's no doubt getting and he be off. I mean, at the end of the day, superstar or not, that's always one of the hardest points for a superstar is adjusting. If you're used to always having the ball, to now going in and saying, okay, I got to split duty. I mean, we heard it when LeBron and Wade got together, them kind of going through that first year and saying, okay, who's going to take the last shot? Until Wade finally just said, okay, look, I'm going to fall back. You're going to do it. Like, they had to have a conversation about that. And that's always the struggle when you add two very high-level superstars who are used to having that ball down the stretch and trying to say, okay, let's figure this out together now. I mean, it's a lot of good matchups, though. So I guess I would say, since we're kind of here, what first-round matchup are you looking forward to seeing most?
That's tough, man. There's really going to be some great basketball in the first round. I might lean towards the idea of having this rematch between the Lakers and Nuggets, because it's interesting that the Nuggets just embarrassed the Lakers last year. So it's kind of saying like, yeah, there you go. I know. Kind of like the whole thing where the Kings probably circled the fact that I hope we get a shot at the Warriors again, and they did. I really feel the Lakers are like, I hope we get a shot at the Nuggets again, because Nobody does that to LA. Like we're the Lakers. Like you don't sweep the Lakers out of the playoffs, especially in a Western Conference Finals. Like you don't do that to us. Like we do that to teams. So I think both of them took it really personal. You could hear an 80s post game interview about kind of joking with CDP, and he's like, they kind of taking this joke a little bit too far, and we two of the best players on the planet still, even though people think we kind of past our prime. Let's show them. So I'm interested to see if the Lakers can show up for one of the first two games in Denver and steal one and make it an interesting series.
To be honest, so the Lakers fan of me, I kind of wanted the rematch because the thing is, if you remember last year, it was a sweep, but those were close ass games, and even during the season, they were close games. The Lakers were even up in a couple of those games. But the thing is with the Nuggets, and this is partly why I got them going out the West right now, is when it gets tight, them dudes don't mess up. They execute. When it gets to the last 5 minutes, you don't see them make turnovers, and that's what happened to the Lakers. The Lakers in the games this season, it would get tight, and then somebody would miss a free throw, somebody would do a stupid. The Nuggets don't make those mistakes down the stretch. I do think it's going to be a good series. I don't know if the Lakers are going to be able to actually win the series, but it's going to be a better series. I think a lot of people think because the Lakers, they have a lot to play for. I mean, you remember Mike Malone's going up there talking shit at the parade and all that. So I think deep down, like knowing the competitor he is, I think he wanted this matchup. From what I saw from D'Angelo Russell, we had to bench him last year. And
Yeah.
what I seen, almost like D'Angelo Russell took that personal, and maybe he's playing for a contract, but D'Angelo Russell the whole year is like, I got benched. I can't go through that again. So to see the Nuggets again, it's fitting that the Lakers get to go see them again.
And the Celtics might see the Heat again. We'll have to see if the Heat get there. So it's kind of interesting. We might get both conference finals a rematch in the first round. That's juicy. That's very juicy.
Which would be great for basketball. At the end of the day, deep down, that's Adam Silver. That's good for the ratings, and that the fans will love it because those were good matchups last year. I think for me, the matchup that I'm looking forward to the most is the Knicks versus Sixers. I just think that's going to be. I'm praying. I'm going to cross fingers and B makes it through healthy. But I've loved what Tyrese Maxey's done all year.
You're making it there. You're making it, and I hate to say it, but he's not. That's why I didn't choose that series. I love it. I like the Knicks Sixers rivalry. I think that's a great Eastern Conference rivalry. I just don't think he's going to make it.
And part of what I like is what you said is the historical rivalry. They're both Philly and New York are so close to each other. I mean, you got two of the most hardcore fan base. You got these New York fans that are thirsty to win. The Philly fans who were, I mean, they were booing them in the play-in because in the first half they looked like shit, and then they go in and get to come back out. We have Embiid who sat there and cried his ass off to want to go out here and win. And in the whole, one of the storylines of the years, it's been Jalen Brunson. I mean, to go out there and I mean, look at you got him and Maxey. We got these two small point guards who both scored their ass off. To watch these two go back and forth, I'm just looking forward to seeing that. And I'm not usually one of these guys who jumps up and like, I just can't wait to see the crowd looks like. But to see the Philly crowd and to see the New York crowd for however long that lasts, I think it's going to be crazy. You're going to have some of the craziest chants. You're going to have Spike Lee acting a fool, just trying to yell from the front row. And you know he's going to be everywhere because Philly's down the street. I mean, Philly has some crazy fans in general. So, I mean, I just think the environment is going to be amazing, especially if somehow Embiid can start to get healthier with cross fingers. I do like that the Sixers got that win early because now you do buy at least a few extra days for Embiid to try to get as healthy as possible before that first game. So for me, that's like the one.
That was a must win for him. He couldn't have gone through two big games, high intensity, must win. I don't think that was good for him at all. So for them to get that 1 point win, that was the best thing for them. I tell you what, though, I got the question earlier about breakout star. For my mind, I was more thinking like who's going to break out that's not a star yet. That can be a star. Talking about Jalen Brunson. Talking about nobody's talking about SGA. Being in New York and Brunson still not getting the respect on his name. It's like, what more does he have to do? He's carried this team on his shoulders. Ever since Randall went down, DiVincenzo stepped up, and I think he's averaging more than 20 a game. And the Knicks needed somebody to say, hey, Jalen, I'll take some of this load. So I think that's helped Jalen not feel the pressure of the New York crowd and let's carry us. And you got to win one for the Knicks. So Dante's kind of been the best thing for this team. And I love his attitude because he's a dog on both sides of the floor. The kid plays great defense and straight dog, man. Like he's one of those kids that you can't really out hustle him because that's his style of play. And he was doing that ever since he was at college. I mean, he was at Nova, right? Winning championships over there. So the kid's a straight dog. And that's what you want as a Knick fan. You want dogs on the court. And OG has been one of the best. I think OG was probably the best in-season move. I mean, Siakam. I think we'll see if the Pacers make a deep run, people say it's maybe Siakam. That's why it'd be awesome to see the Pacers and Knicks play each other in that second round, because then you can get to determine which Raptor is the best Raptor, who got the best Raptor. You know what I mean? So
right, yeah, those guys are on the trading block forever. You actually bring up one other point I didn't think of this until now. You got all those Nova guys. So you got all the Nova guys. They played in Philly, and now they have to go back to Philly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Subtopic because that's what they did. I mean, they basically went into that Villanova culture of the toughness. When you look at Brunson, Hart, and Dante, and then you put up, which is also tough, and now they got to go play each other. So, like, I just think that's going to be like fireworks.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I thought about who we thought was going to break out, who was going to sign. We got to put somebody. We got to make sure people get their money's worth. Who needs to be on upset alert out here?
Upset alert. We're upset alert. We already said it earlier. I mean, the Bucks by default don't count. Without Giannis, I don't think we can say it's an upset alert, because the team is definitely no longer a contender to win a championship if Giannis can't play in the series. So if we're gonna disqualify the Bucks and be like, all right, let's kind of move you to the side, I think the Kings can beat the Thunder.
Ooh,
Only, and that's only if, and I don't know his status right now, and if is Monk done for the year completely, or is there a chance he can come back at
They
any
said back, but they made it sound as if it was further down the road, like it may have to be an advance or two for him to actually get back in there.
But that's the only thing that has me a little concerned, is that they would need the spark of Malik Monk, that because they have to score with the Thunder, right? They have to be able to score. And what we know about Sacramento is that perimeter defense is the worst in the league. So they're going to have to score a lot of points. So to me, it's more hinging that if they were to get Monk back, if no Monk, then it's the Suns. The Suns are going to beat the Wolves in 5.
I was really split on two of these, and I'm going to go with one ultimately, but I have to address this issue, and it's somewhat of an elephant in the room, because I was lighting the group chat up. I really hate what the Cavs did, tanking that to try to go get the Magic. I don't like the move because the Magic do play defense. The Cavs, you play to win the game, as Herman was saying. I don't like that they didn't try to finish to do that. And it sets a bad tone, because the last month of the season, the Cavs played like shit. When you look at the Magic, you got Shrugs. He's played wonderful defense. Jonathan Isaac, been one of the best defenders in basketball this year. So they're going to go out there, and they can throw a lot of bodies at Mitchell, which is going to be hard for the Cavs. And then I never underestimate this, the disrespect factor. If I'm the Orlando Magic, I'm taking that shit personal. You went out there and purposely lost, having a chance to get more home games because you thought I was fucking chopped liver. You thought I was just fucking as Shaq says, barbecue chicken. You said this is easy money. Give me them guys. I would lose on purpose. I don't care about going to play the Celtics or anybody. Give me them guys. So if I was the Magic, I would take that personal. So for me, that's one. But the really big upset alert, and I hate to do it because I've rolled with them all year. My guy Ant-Man, and you mentioned it earlier on our Cinco Squad. Whoever's watching, make sure y'all check out Cinco Squad episodes.
Yeah, it's out.
Jamie refers to this, and I thought I said, damn, he's already on to something. The Suns gave the Wolves hell all year. Anthony had the best games. It's something about that matchup. I don't know what it is. Maybe Durant feels a certain way because this is when the Young Bucks and he wants to, come out there and kick his ass. Then you start to get these guys like Nurkic, you like to rough people up. But something about that Suns matchup, they play a little bit better down the stretch. I don't know. And then also, the other thing, got to factor in USA basketball. Remember, it came in, Devin Booker's going to be the guy. He's going to be taking the last shot. And then before we knew it, the more we kept hearing this, damn, man, Edwards. You started to hear Steve Kerr and all these guys talk about him. And before you knew it, that started to kind of become a little rivalry back in USA basketball. So I think those two can get out. But
the only way the T-Wolves win, Naz Reid is having himself a career year, is if Naz Reid is that X factor in the beginning of the series. Like he forces things. They go through him, especially if Towns is on the bench, go through him in the offense. And I think the Suns don't have an answer for him. I feel like the matchup, if they have Gobert in there, they're going to pull the big out. And that makes Naz a real tough matchup for the Suns. So he's going to have a career series, and he's going to have to be like almost out of body type Naz Reid. Like, who the hell is this guy balling out for the Wolves kind of thing? So,
but Naz has the potential. We've seen it before. Yeah. I first hipped him. I went to a Warriors T-Wolves game last year, and I think that night, I think Gobert ended up getting in foul trouble, and Reed comes in, he starts balling. I said, who the fuck is this Naz Reid dude? Like the night we went,
LSU product, boy. I'm gonna buy you, boy.
Ant was having a bad day, and Nas Reed showed up and everything. I started tracking. So the whole year I'm watching, and he gets that contract extension. I remember saying, I said, I don't know, man. That dude might be able to start on a few teams. The T-Wolves kind of got to steal, getting that guy back as the third big in that team. So yeah, he could play a big factor. The Suns, it's hard because, we're always liable to have the Bill injury where he goes down, and KD has injuries at times. The longer that series goes, the worse it is for the Suns because you start to get more outs on KD. Bill, like I said, is a walking injury. So, but I hate to say it, like I said, that ain't the matchup the T-Wolves wanted. I just simply is that the T-Wolves, they had a chance to handle business down the stretch. They didn't. Now they put themselves in a matchup that just was not.
It was kind of crazy. It came down to the last game of the season with all three of those teams deadlocked, though. That was kind of nuts because I had never seen that in my whole. I've watched a lot of basketball. I've never seen three teams eligible to get one seed in game 82. That was fantastic.
It reminds you a lot of times the NBA doesn't get that. How the NFL has that last week where we start all the games at the same time because we need to see the seed. And so you I'm watching the Cavs play the Hornets on one TV, then I got the Knicks Bulls on because I'm watching the ticker up top because I'm trying to track, okay, who's playing who. Then it keeps going up and down. That's what the NFL has made that was beautiful. And for the NBA, it finally worked out where we got to the last day. And I'm
Big
talking
win.
to many watching the last day. We used to watch the last day. People are sitting.
Big win.
And for the NBA. I guess, okay, so like I said, we gotta give people what they want. Everybody wants to lock in bets. Everybody wants to lock in money. For me, and I didn't earlier, you had OKC as possibly losing. My lock it in bet is OKC is going to win, which is why I addressed this earlier. We talk about this disrespect factor. I sat here and watched Shannon Sharp, and he wasn't the only one. The other people say OKC is the worst number one seed in I think the last 20 years or some crazy shit.
What?
I don't see it. And I said the disrespect level at a certain point. Shea doesn't get MVP. Okay, fine. But some people I'm hearing with, I'm listening to people, they're like, yeah, he's 4th or 5th my ballot. I'm like, man, y'all just get disrespect. Then people start saying, y'all not remember the 2014-15 Hawks and that shit show, and they get swept out by the Cavs? No, this is not the worst number one seed. So I just think when you start to look at the disrespect and stuff, I think them fellas is gonna bring it. And then also the flashback, and I started thinking about this. We haven't seen OKC with this much expectation in years. But when that crowd gets going in that arena, and I remember the days of Durant, Westbrook, Ibaka, Harden, that arena is a fucking monster. So now you got these young guys shoulder, a city who's gonna have a chip on her shoulder because once again the white believes, and they were patient, and I give the fans of Oklahoma City credit. They were patient and they waited and they sat there, throughout all this. Sam Presti, as usual, proved why he is, if not the best GM, one of the best GMs in the league. He rebuilt patient, and here we are. I don't know if they're necessarily gonna make a finals run, but that at least through that first round, I expect that chip on the shoulder to say, fuck y'all, we got some shit to prove. We coming out and kicking ass.
Yeah, I mean, a little love for the big men, Serge Ibaka and Steven Adams, because they were crowd favorites too in OKC, because, they like that gritty style of basketball, and then you had the finesse with the guards and KD. So, I mean, I'm surprised you went away from the team that you talked down more than any other team, and that's your freaking baby sister team out there in LA. The Mavs are the lock of the first round, bro. I can't believe that I was on record saying, this is the Clippers' year, and they're going to do it, and you would shit on me for that whole show. And now I'm like, that good Trey shit on me for that whole show, because I deserved it for even uttering those words that this year is the Clippers' year. The Mavs are going to beat the Clippers in 5 only because they might just take game 4 off and go and roll in game 5 and be like, look, man, we're done with you guys. We're ready to rest and move on to the second round and see what we could do to try and compete with your Thunder, like you're saying here, because the Thunder are going to be the team they play next, which would be a monstrous series. I mean, I might think that might be my favorite series if we do see Dallas and OKC play. We might get a real treat there. Yeah, I really think the Mavs have nothing stopping them right now from showing the NBA that I think you guys underassume that we're supposed to be one of the contenders to win the West. But you guys are talking about these two young teams, the T-Wolves, and they've been there before. They've been to a Western Conference Finals. And when they got there, they played like shit against the Suns a couple years ago. And excuse me, that team really has the win. I think they're winning. I think that they found ways to win games in situations where people thought the Mavs aren't as good as we say they are. I think they've proved to people, you know how good we are? We'll beat a team by 40 if we want. We beat a team by 30 if we want. And that's the only thing, if we want. The consistency wanes with them. On nights, they look like the team to beat. On nights, they're like, I don't even know if they should be in the playoffs right now. So whatever Mavs team we get, I know we're going to get a great team in the first round. I hope we keep getting that great team throughout the playoffs. But the Clippers, they're going fishing pretty damn soon this year. And I'd say 5.
Oh, no, I agree with you on that. I mean, the Mavs, down the stretch, the one good thing about it is you always want your team to be playing the best basketball down the stretch. The Mavs are playing the best basketball down the stretch. And that is part of why I do clearly expect them to go kick the Clippers' ass because, yeah, they were clicking. I mean, Kyrie and Luka started to blend, right? They started, I mean, Gafford was a huge pickup for them. Like, they started to blend the right way. Everybody kind of knows their role. They're just, they seem like they're on the same page. The Clippers started to go backwards. The Mavs started to come up. So it was ironic that they had to meet here in at that point. But
Hardaway playing great too. So they got 3-4 guys who are balling this year.
yeah, they do. So it's going to be a fun first round. I don't know. I'm looking forward to a lot of this. It's been a great show. I mean, we get out of here. You got any final thoughts as we go into this first round?
Yeah, look, let me tell you guys something. All right, the NBA playoffs are the most entertaining time of the year to watch basketball. So stop saying I hate the NBA. All right, you will fall in love with the NBA again once you look at the playoffs, because the playoffs is where it's at. We all know that. We debated it on our show. By the way, check out Cinco Squad when you get a chance. So sit down, buy yourself a 6-pack, do what you got to do, invite the boys over, whatever it is. Go to your boy's house if he has a man cave, and veg out this weekend and really pay attention to a couple guys we might not see that much longer in the playoffs because we don't know about their health and longevity. Enjoy watching KD, enjoy watching LeBron, and really soak it all in, because we don't know what we're going to get or how much more we're going to get from these guys again, especially if they make a deep playoff run this year.
Yes, please. We have to enjoy our legends. The future is coming, as we see with a lot of these young guys. We do need to enjoy our legends on the way out. Just like Grandpa J said, it's the best time of year. You can't ask for anything else better. You get the best athletes competing at the highest level. NBA playoff time. What else more can you ask for? But, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Comment. We will comment back. Tell us we're fucking wrong. Tell us we're right. Tell us you think. Let us know.
Come on, Clippers fans, bring it.
You're on fire. We're ready for Fagua. But we'll be back soon. We'll come back. We'll do this again around the second round. We may even come back and do one maybe mid-first round. But stay tuned for it. Make sure you stay tuned to our regular show, Cinco Squad Podcast. Make sure you stay tuned to the starting 5. Like I said, we'll be doing a lot more of this. Cinco Squad, out.